Welcome to Kansas Ag Report with your host, Brian Holman.
Welcome to Kansas Ag Report. I'm Brian Holman, and here's our lineup for today's show. In Ag News, we'll take a look at local and national headlines affecting Kansas farmers. In our Ag Feature, we talk with Aaron Popelka from KLA and get a legislative update. And inside Kansas Ag, Kansas Wheat announces winning recipes of the National Festival of Breads. Then KDA discusses international trade. And in news you need to know, we get our weekly update from the Kansas Livestock Association. We'll look back at last week's market activity with the guys from Paragon, and we'll let you know about important events coming up around the state of Kansas. Glad you could join us.
Closed captioning brought to you by Dick Edwards in Manhattan, selling America's #1 truck, the Ford F-150, for over 30 years. DickEdwardsAuto.com.
Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff. Progress powered by Kansas farmers. kansassoybeans.org.
Ag Risk Solutions. Experience, knowledge, integrity. Your crop insurance solution, Ag Risk Solutions. Dick Edwards Auto Plaza in Junction City, home of this year's Motor Trend Truck of the Year, Ram Truck. DickEdwardsAuto.com.
Here's our national headlines for this week in Ag News. Ag Secretary Tom Vilsack this week provided farm owners and producers until April 7th to choose between the ARC and PLC, the safety net programs established by the 2014 Farm Bill. The final day to update yield history or reallocate base acres also will be April 7th. Producers need to contact the Farm Service Agency by that date also. To learn more, farmers can contact their local FSA county office. The U.S. Department of Agriculture announced a proposed rule to limit farm payments to non-farmers consistent with requirements Congress mandated in the 2014 Farm Bill. The proposed rule limits farm payments to individuals who may be designated as farm managers but are not actively engaged in farm management. Stakeholders interested in commenting on the proposed definition and changes are encouraged to provide written comment at regulations.gov by May 26th. U.S. ethanol exports totaled 826 million gallons in 2014, a 33% increase over 2013. The U.S. Energy Information Administration says the number is second only to the 1.2 billion exported in 2011. U.S. ethanol imports totaled 73 million gallons in 2014, down 81% from the 377 million gallons imported in 2013. The U.S. has been a net exporter of fuel ethanol for 5 consecutive years. And in local news, Kansas inventory of all hogs and pigs on March 1st was 1.8 million head, according to the USDA's National Agricultural Statistics Service. This was up 12% from March 1st of 2014. Breeding hog inventory at 175,000 head was up 3% from March 1st of 2014, but down 3% from last quarter. Market hog inventory at 1.6 million head was up 13% from last year and up 2% from last quarter. Kansas Representative Mike Pompeo introduced a bipartisan bill Wednesday that would create a national science-based labeling standard for GMO foods. The Kansas Corn Growers Association supports Representative Pompeo's efforts and is urging Congress to move swiftly to pass the bill. The Safe and Accurate Food Labeling Act will guarantee that food labeling is uniform across state lines. The act will also ensure labeling decisions are established by science-based uniform standards that are consistent in every grocery store in all 50 states. The full Senate approved by a vote of 23-17 Senate substitute for House Bill 2135, the $15.5 billion state budget bill. The bill leaves out education budget, which was recently signed into law, and the budget for the judicial branch, which will be debated separately. The spending cuts in the Senate's budget, along with transfers from other funds, erase most of the state's nearly $600 million shortfall for the fiscal year beginning July 1st. But the budget would still come up about $130 million short. This deficit will need to be filled by cutting more spending or raising taxes. Up next in our Ag Feature, we talk with Aaron Popelka from KLA and get a legislative update. You're watching Kansas Ag Report. Please stay tuned.
This segment brought to you by Grass and Grain, online or in the mail, keeping Kansas farmers informed for over 60 years. GrassandGrain.com. A.B. Flint Motor Company, selling quality used cars and trucks in Southeast Topeka at 32nd and South Kansas Avenue. Integrity Gun and Pawn, 2 Topeka locations specializing in firearms and training. IGPawn.com to learn more. Kansas Weed Commission, leaders in the adoption of profitable innovations for weeds. Online at kswheat.com.
I'm Dr. Frank Lyons, a physician here at Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center. As one of the only standalone stem cell centers in the U.S., we use your stem cells as therapy for arthritis and some autoimmune diseases.
I'm Dr. Andrew Pope, here at Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center. Utilizing the latest technology under strict protocols, we're able to harvest your stem cells from your own fat to treat a variety of medical conditions. The best part about it is, it's a same-day surgical procedure and requires no general anesthesia.
The 20th Annual Kicker Country Stampede, starring Blake Shelton. Yeah, the boys round Florida Georgia Line. This is how we roll. Travis Tritt. Also from the Cynics main stage, Thomas Rhett. Miller Lite, the official beer of Country Stampede. Our prices increase February 28th. Get yours now. Get them now before the price goes up. Like us on Facebook or buy online at countrystampede.com.
You need a partner that you can count on to be there for your business. Providing a depth of understanding to risk management issues so you don't have to. A knowledgeable support team located in your area, delivering products and services to make you more successful.
Here at Blue River Traders, we have the greatest selection of rustic and western furniture in Kansas.
At Blue River Traders, you can select from an inventory of rustic lodge or western furnishings. With a designer on hand, Blue River Traders will help create the look you desire.
Looking for that new vehicle with that low payment? Well, look what Dick Edwards in Manhattan and Junction City is offering on these vehicles. Lease payments as low as $169 a month, or check these out at $199 a month. But wait. See what you can get for as low as $299 a month. With 9 manufacturers to choose from, we've got what you want. Dick Edwards in Manhattan, Junction City. Check us out at dickedwardsauto.com. Choose your payment, choose your vehicle, choose Dick Edwards as your dealer.
Thanks for staying with us this morning. We're at the state capitol and we're joined by Aaron Popelka from the Kansas Livestock Association. It's good to see you again, Aaron.
Good to see you, Brian. Thank you.
We're ending the session. This is the last week of the session. Budget. I mean, that's a really big topic here in the state of Kansas. Kind of walk us through where we're at with the budget.
Yeah, so we're in the last week of the regular session. We'll adjourn here at the end of the week, and they'll take a break during April and come back at the end of April, beginning of May, to finish out with a veto session. So right now where we're at, in November, the Consensus Revenue Estimating Group said that for the next fiscal year 2016, which starts July 1st of this year, that we were about $650 million short of having a balanced budget. Kansas has a balanced budget amendment constitution, so we have to get to at least zero. So far, the Senate and House committees have worked budgets, and by doing a couple things. One, doing some cuts to agencies, doing revenue transfers, looking at over $100 million out of the Kansas Department of Transportation, in addition to normal transfers, as well as a few other things dealing with CanCare contracts. We've been able to cut that hole, if those committee bills were to pass, to about $140 million now. We're at the point in time, though, where that's kind of stalled out, because remember the revenue estimates are based on November, and we just got done, or just about ready to finish up filing taxes here in mid-April. After that happens, we'll have another consensus revenue estimating group, and so the idea is that maybe at this point the budget and any potential tax bills aren't going to happen until we get those new numbers to know whether we need to adjust up or down. But as it stands right now, we're about $140 million, give or take, short of getting to zero. So they're going to have to raise some more revenue if the current budget bills advance.
And one of the things that we've talked about revenue-wise, and we've got about a minute left in this first segment, is sales tax on equipment, and then Senate Bill 178 was another one.
Right. So both of those bills are pretty harmful to agriculture. There's a few different proposals. The governor has a proposal mainly to raise sin taxes, alcohol, tobacco, and also make some adjustments to freezing income tax rates that are set to decline. There are some folks who want to, one, increase property taxes on ag land by changing how it's valued, and the other, there's another bill out there that would remove the sales tax exemption on farm machinery and equipment, which, by the way, every one of our surrounding states has for agriculture. It put us at a competitive disadvantage. Those could come at some point as an amendment to a tax bill. We expect probably in late April, May when they come back for the veto session. So we're staying very vigilant on that. Would have some very dire consequences to production agriculture in the state of Kansas.
Perfect. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to finish up. We're going to talk about some of the water bills that are winding their way through the Senate. You're watching kansasAGreport. We'll see you in just a minute.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center. Your stem cells, your health, your life. Farmers Insurance, your best protection against the unexpected. Call Agent Dan Key at 785-408-5459. Grass and Grain, online or in the mail, keeping Kansas farmers informed for over 60 years. grassandgrain.com. Blue River Traders, the finest selection of Western-style furniture for your home. BlueRiverTraders.com.
Thanks for staying with us. We're at the state capitol here in Kansas, and we're joined by Aaron Popelka from Kansas Livestock Association. Aaron, in the first segment, we got to talk about the budgets and taxes and some other stuff, and we kind of cut you off short because we had to go to commercial break, but there's a lot more to what you were talking about earlier.
Yeah, so one of the bills that we didn't mention, and we think may actually get worked in committee this week, is a bill that would remove the sales tax exemption on residential and ag utilities. So, the electric bills, the gas bills that you may pay at your farm or ranch that's connected to your house, and maybe the barn and machine shed, currently enjoys a sales tax exemption. There's potential that could get worked, again, to help try and fill that budget hole. We think that would, obviously put a little more strain on farm families, putting that back on there. And so we're going to be paying close attention to that, as well as the other bills that are out there. But that's one where the actual bill is going to move versus the other two that never had a hearing. And we expect to maybe get tried as an amendment to a different bill. This is one where the bill itself may get consideration.
Well, is there any way that we can look at a tax increase statewide instead of kind of picking a few segments of the population that are going to get picked on a little bit?
Yeah, I think that's definitely something that's in play. There's been some talk of just adjusting the overall sales tax rate upward. Also, you might recall in 2012 we exempted non-C corporations from income tax. So any business that's like a sole proprietorship, partnership,
DBA
LLCs, right? Those type of folks currently aren't paying any income tax, and so there's been some talk by different members of the legislature about what if we just put that back on. There's a lot of folks who are opposed to that, and so all those things are going to fit into the mix here as we get into the final days of this legislative session, probably about in May.
Well, we've got about a minute left. Water's another hot topic. We talked earlier, our first time that we got an update, some water bills are kind of working their way through.
Yeah, so there's about three bills that we're working on that would have an impact. One deals with water conservation areas. It's similar to local enhanced management areas, only this would allow individuals to get together. One of the things, we actually support that bill because one of the changes that was made versus LEMA is if you're going to be a part of that agreement to conserve water, every single water right has to approve it. And we think that's a very landowner-friendly provision.
Aaron, it's good to catch up with you.
Good to see you too. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Suzanne Ryan, the new International Trade Director for the Kansas Department of Agriculture. We Kansans are proud of our role in producing the safest, most abundant food supply for not only Kansans and fellow Americans, but consumers around the world. In Kansas, agricultural exports equate to $4.9 billion, or 40% of total exports. At the Kansas Department of Agriculture, we work to create opportunities for Kansas farmers, ranchers, and agribusinesses to connect with global markets. Throughout the year, team members lead a variety of outbound and inbound trade missions. On April 1st, we have a delegation representing 7 Eurasia countries visiting the Kansas Department of Agriculture here in Manhattan. During the visit, the delegates will hear about our business services and inspection processes. One of our upcoming inbound trade missions is a value-added feed ingredients buyers mission. Buyers from 6 different countries will be in Kansas City on June 1st and 2nd for one-on-one meetings with sellers of feed ingredients such as DDGS, meat and bone meal, soybean meal, vitamins and minerals, and more. If you have an agricultural product that you are interested in exporting, please contact me or another member of the Marketing, Advocacy, and Outreach team.
After months of testing and tasting entries, I'm proud to announce the recipes that will be represented in the National Festival of Breads on June 13th in Manhattan, Kansas. Over 70 of the submitted recipes were tested, and the top 8 entries have been selected after several rounds of judging. These finalists have risen to the challenge of developing creative, flavorful recipes that highlight some of the latest trends in baking. In the ethnic bread category, we have Felice Bogus from North Carolina with her chickpea stuffed Aleppo flatbreads, and Mary Hawks from Arizona with the cheddar and chilies accordion bread. For the rolls, we have selected 2 finalists from California, Mary Graham with her curry and chia onion buns, and Amy Myers with rosemary cardamom twisters. In the whole grains category, finalists are Ronna Farley of Maryland with a crunchy topped coconut almond bread, as well as peppered Parmesan veggie bread from Patrice Hurd of Minnesota. Our time-saving and simples finalists are Jane Fry of Elk Falls, Kansas with her beautiful chocolate swirl loaves, and Lisa Keys of Pennsylvania with the Smokehouse cranberry cheese bread. Contestants will come to Manhattan to bake their creations at the National Festival of Breads. The contest is sponsored by King Arthur Flour, Red Star Yeast, and Kansas Wheat.
Brought to you by Oldie Seed Farms, carrying soil-specific seed. Find them on the web at oldieseed.com. That's OHLDE seed.com. A.B. Flint Motor Company, selling quality used cars and trucks in Southeast Topeka at 32nd and South Kansas Avenue. Integrity Gun and Pawn, 2 Topeka locations specializing in firearms and training. igpawn.com to learn more. Impact Satellite, your local authorized DirecTV dealer. Impact Satellite at 785-554-5974.
Looking for that new vehicle with that low payment? Well, look what Dick Edwards in Manhattan and Junction City is offering on these vehicles. Lease payments as low as $169 a month, or check these out at $199 a month. But wait. See what you can get for as low as $299 a month. With 9 manufacturers to choose from, we've got what you want. Dick Edwards in Manhattan, Junction City. Check us out at dickedwardsauto.com. Choose your payment, choose your vehicle, choose Dick Edwards as your dealer.
Imagine having someone help you pick the best corn hybrids for every field on your farm. Your Oldie representative can combine your data with his data to offer a field-by-field prescription. Contact Oldie Seed today at 877-692-4555.
Tammy the Pro Home Plus is all about providing warmth and kindness to aging individuals who find it difficult to live on their own. Tammy's team is made up of experienced caregivers and nurses committed to the highest level of individualized care, focusing on health and well-being, and assisting with nutrition, grooming, medications, therapies, and daily living needs, all in a warm, caring environment. Call Tammy the Pro Home Plus today at 785-383-7094 to learn how we can help.
The producer-funded Kansas Wheat Innovation Center was built to get improved varieties into the hands of farmers faster. Kansas Wheat, farmers advancing their future through wheat genetics research.
This hog is head over hoof for meal made from U.S. soybeans. Now, one hog isn't that impressive, but suppose we add another, and another, and another. Before long, you've got billions of hungry customers around the world all clamoring for the same thing. Our soybeans. Learn more about the billion-dollar appetite of animal agriculture at BeyondTheElevator.com. Brought to you by America's soybean farmers and their checkoff.
Dick Edwards is taking North Central Kansas by storm. We've been bending over backwards to exceed your car buying experience for over 30 years. Choose from one of our 9 different new car brands or from our second-to-none used selection. Currently, with over 700 vehicles to choose from, we definitely have the one for you. Whether you're coming from the north, south, east, or west, our sales and service departments will work tirelessly to do what's right for you. Dick Edwards in Manhattan and Junction City. Bending over backwards for you.
You need a partner that you can count on to be there for your business. Providing a depth of understanding to risk management issues so you don't have to. A knowledgeable support team located in your area, delivering products and services to make you more successful.
The Kansas legislature has reached first adjournment. While very few tax bills have been approved to this point, other proposed legislation is closer to becoming law. The House has approved Senate Bill 156. As passed by the Senate, the bill would authorize groundwater gauge sites on the Arkansas River. The House, however, added an amendment that would allow individual water right owners to enter into a water conservation area agreement to voluntarily reduce use. KLA supported the amendment because it requires every affected water right owner to consent to the plan before it can go into effect. The bill is in a conference committee to resolve differences. The Senate has passed House Bill 2364, which would extend the life of the K-State Veterinary Medicine Scholarship Program for students who pledge to practice in rural Kansas. House Bill 2364, which already passed the House, was placed into a conference committee to work out differences between the House and Senate pertaining to the length of the program. KLA supports this bill. Last year, a bill passed that exempted vehicles with a gross weight rating between 10,000 and 26,000 pounds and operated in intrastate commerce from most state commercial vehicle regulations. This law is scheduled to expire July 1st. Senate Bill 21, a bill to make the exemption permanent, has passed the Senate and House and currently is awaiting Governor Sam Brownback's signature.
Good morning. I'm Eric Osterhaus with Paragon Ag Advisors. The big news this last week was the release of the USDA quarterly stocks report and the planting intentions estimate. This is typically a highly anticipated report, and many experts were looking for a neutral to friendly report for corn, negative for beans, and neutral for wheat. The report actually came out opposite of what most were looking for. USDA corn stocks were higher than expected, and estimated acres going to corn were near the very high end of the range. The U.S. soybean acres estimates were not nearly as high as feared going into the report. The wheat market actually saw friendly news, but traded largely sideways to lower, as it appears as if this information might have already been priced in. If we do see soybeans trade higher in the short run and also see corn continuing to break, it does raise the question of whether we will in fact see a switch in acres from corn to beans. It'll take us a little time to see if the market prices might encourage producers to consider this, but the stage is set for this to be a topic of conversation in the next several weeks. In the near term, corn and soybeans will now likely turn to planting progress and weather to provide short-term direction, while the trade digests all the news from this latest report. Also, we're just now starting to trade weather in the wheat market, and reports of winter kill and dryness are just now starting to appear in the headlines. Couple this news with, let's say, a break in the US dollar, and wheat could be looking for an excuse to move higher in the short run. If you have any questions on these markets or any market, give us a call today at 888-452-8751. Have a productive day.
Closed captioning brought to you by Dick Edwards in Manhattan, selling America's #1 truck, the Ford F-150, for over 30 years. DickEdwardsAuto.com.
Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff. Progress powered by Kansas farmers. kansassoybeans.org.
Ag Risk Solutions. Experience, knowledge, integrity. Your crop insurance solution, Ag Risk Solutions. Dick Edwards Auto Plaza in Junction City, home of this year's Motor Trend Truck of the Year, Ram Truck. DickEdwardsAuto.com.
Well, that's our show for today. I hope you'll join us each week for more news and information about agriculture in the state of Kansas. I'm Brian Holman, and thanks for watching.
Here at Blue River Traders, we have the greatest selection of rustic and western furniture in Kansas.
At Blue River Traders, you can select from an inventory of rustic lodge or western furnishings. With a designer on hand, Blue River Traders will help create the look you desire.
Imagine having someone help you pick the best corn hybrids for every field on your farm. Your Oldie representative can combine your data with his data to offer a field-by-field prescription. Contact Oldie Seed today at 877-692-4555.
Tammy the Pro Home Plus is all about providing warmth and kindness to aging individuals who find it difficult to live on their own. Tammy's team is made up of experienced caregivers and nurses committed to the highest level of individualized care, focusing on health and well-being, and assisting with nutrition, grooming, medications, therapies, and daily living needs, all in a warm, caring environment. Call Tammy the Pro Home Plus today at 785-383-7094 to learn how we can help.